Okay, XML DTD. Okay, can I proceed? I hope you are able to see my screen. Okay, can I proceed? Yes. Okay. Okay. So last time, yeah. Okay, we started with this DTD. Yes or no? Okay, even I have explained you all what is the meaning of DTD, how to write the DTD. You know. Yes. So here is a small example we are having. Okay, so this is a XML file. Yes or no? So this is a simple XML file I'm having. So if you look at this file, okay, even this kind of questions are asked for the exam, they might give you all one XML file, okay, and yeah, you'll have to write the valid DTD for that. Understood? No, right? So this is a XML file, and suppose we have to write the DTD for this. Understanding? So first of all, we need to understand the architecture, the layout of this XML file. Okay. So if you look at this file, yeah, machines is my root node, and this laptop is repeating. Yes or no? If I look at the machines node, machines is my root node, and this is a laptop element. Yes or no? Laptop element is repeating. Yes or no? Even I might have one more element over there. Understanding? Okay. Now if you look at the laptop element, again it is having storage, okay, processor, price, and company. And even if you look at the storage thing, again it is having volatile and non-volatile components. Yes or no? Storage component is having volatile as well as non-volatile. Right. So if you write the DTD for this, okay, what we had seen, first we need to give the root element. Okay, what is the root element? Machines. Yes or no? Root element is machines, right? So now we have to define all the elements, including the root element. So how to define the element? We need to use the element keyword. Element. What is the first element? Machines. Okay. Element machines. Yes or no? What type of element it is? It is having some children. Yes or no? Wait a minute. Yeah. Okay, so I'll define this root element now. So if you look at this root element, who is a child of this root element? Laptop. Yes or no? So I'll put laptop over here. Okay, and since it is occurring multiple times, you can see over there, okay, one laptop element, second laptop element. I can have a number of laptop elements, right? So I'll put plus over here, right? Okay, so going to the second element, okay, I'll define the laptop element now. Again, element keyword, okay, laptop. Okay, so if you look at the laptop element, who are the children of laptop element? Storage, processor, price, and company. Yes or no? Storage, processor, price, and company. Okay, company. Fine. Okay, now we'll define the storage element. Okay, so what about the storage element? Element storage. Again, storage is not a simple element which have some content. Again, it is having some children. Yes or no? So what are the children of storage element? Volatile and non-volatile. Okay, so volatile, comma, non-volatile, non-volatile. Okay, okay. Now before going to the processor element, I'll have to finish off with the storage element. Understood? No. So once you expanded one element, I'll have to define both these elements. Then only I'll be going to the processor, right? So let's define this volatile element now. Okay, element volatile. What type of element it is? It doesn't have any children. Yes or no? So I'll put PC data, fast character data. Okay. Similarly, what non-volatile element? So I'll just copy this thing. Okay, non-volatile element. Yes or no? Okay, so I'm done with the storage now. Yes or no? I expanded the laptop element. These were the children. Then I started expanding storage element. I've written the storage element. It is having these children. Even these two have expanded, right? So now I'll go to processor. Okay, so if you look at the processor element, again it is a simple element. Yes or no? See, this is the processor element. Simple element it is. Processor, price, and company. So we'll put the PC data. So processor, price, and company. Okay. Price, okay, company. Okay. Don't try to copy paste all these things now, because this kind of things you have to write for the exams. Okay, since this is very much strict language as compared to HTML, you should have the practice of all these things, understanding. Okay, so yeah, we are done with the DTD now. So this is how the elements are expanded. Okay, why are given plus? Because laptop element is occurring multiple times over here, right? Okay, laptop is having storage, processor, price, company. Storage is having these two elements. Both these things are expanded. Then I went to processor, price, and company, right? So if I save this file, okay, yeah, and so I'll save this file. Okay, so when I save the file, it's not giving any warnings and all. That means I can say that this is well formed. Now whether it is valid or not, whether this XML document is as per this DTD or not, okay, that we'll have to find using this plugin. So I'll go to plugin. Yeah, valid. Okay, it's not showing any errors. That means it is fine. It is valid. Understanding? Now one more thing, this order is also important. See, whatever order they are specifying over there, I'm saying the laptop is having this still done, yes or no? So these four should be occurring in this order only: storage, processor, price, and company. Storage, processor, price, and company. Understanding? If you change the order slightly, if I put this over here, if I put this element over here, so what is happening? I'm changing the order. In the XML document, what I'm saying, storage, processor, company, and price. But here it was storage, processor, price, and company, right? So if I save this file, it's not showing any warnings. Means what, this file is well formed. Yes or no? Okay, now we'll check whether it is valid. So it should say us, yeah, understood now. So it's saying that, okay, it is unexpected as per the model, means as per the DTD. Understood now? That is was because of this order. Okay, storage, processor, price, and company. Storage, processor, company, and price. Fine. Even this order was important. Okay, price and company. Okay, so this is a DTD now uh, for this XML file. Okay, fine. So now it's not showing any error. That means it is valid. This file is valid as well as well formed. Understood? Right. So okay, so I think even the similar example I had explained you last time. Fine. Okay, now we'll continue with the things. Okay, so all these things we have done now. Building blocks of DTD XML, all these things, fine. Okay, now even the elements we had seen last time, how to declare the elements, complex elements, simple elements, then declaring the occurrence. Okay, if you're not specifying anything, that means what? Only one child. This element node is having only one child, that is message. Even if this message element is occurring 2 times inside this node, it is invalid. Okay, for that you have to use this different operators like, yeah, at least 1, then at least 0. Okay, and all these things, yes or no? Okay, now we'll see how to define the DTD attributes. Understanding? So far in all these examples, we had not taken any example of an attribute. Now what is the meaning of an attribute? Okay, it is same concept of HTML. If I'm having, suppose, say one element, I'll take this element as, yeah, I'll take the element as, suppose, say salary. Okay, salary element is there. Okay, so no, this is a simple element, salary element, this is the content, right? So if I specify, suppose, say one attribute over here, okay, mode equal to some mode, yes or no? So it can be cache or check or some other modes also, right? So this mode is a attribute over here, fine. So how to define these attributes inside the DTD now, that we'll see. Understood? Even in all these examples, we had not taken the example of what the okay, these are the okay. In all these examples, we had not taken an example of attributes. Understood now? So now we'll see how to define these attributes. Understanding? Okay. So first of all, this is the syntax that we'll be using. Okay. Yeah. So the syntax that we are going to use to declare the attribute will be, yeah, look at this example. We have to use the at least keyword. Okay, to define the elements we had used element, yes or no? To define the root element we had used doc type. So similarly, if you want to define any attribute of any element, okay, we need to use what? At least. Attribute list it is. Understanding? Then the element name. What is the attribute? Okay, what is the type of the value of the attribute is having, and then the final value of the attribute. Yeah, this might look a bit difficult, okay, but once we take some examples, then you'll understand. Fine. Okay. So if you yeah, look at this example now. Just look at this example. Okay. Otherwise, give me 1 minute. I'll see if I can have. I had one. Just give me a minute. Just a minute. I got one reference. Okay, which had explained these things nicely. Yeah. Okay. Okay. I'll explain you all with these examples. Start sharing my screen again. Okay, so I hope you're able to see my screen. Okay, fine. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so this is how we declare the attributes first. Okay, so you can see one example over there. There's one element payment. Yes or no? How to define the element we know now. Yes or no? Okay, but if you look at this element, there is one type attribute, right? So this is how it will be defined. Okay, so this is how it will be defined. Understanding? So what I'll say again, this is a keyword element name. What is the element name? Payment. Yes or no? What is the attribute name? Type. Yes or no? Again, this defines what type of value the attribute is having. Again, I'll take it as a PC data or C data you can take. Okay, and this is the default value of this attribute type. This is the default value of this attribute type. Understanding? Okay, so again, this is a keyword element name, to which element it belongs, then the attribute name, then this is what type of value this attribute will be having. So you can take PC data or C data, and in this case I have specified this check as a default at a value of this type attribute. Understanding? So we'll see some more examples of this. Yeah, this will be some more examples. Value required, implied and fixed. Okay, so in this case I had taken one example of a value that was a default value that was specified over here. Default value was specified, right? Okay, yeah, default value. This is the example. See, again there's one more example. This is a simple element I'm having, square element. Yes or no? What is the attribute of that square element? Width. Yes, a value is 100, right? Okay, so first of all, if you want to define this in DTD, first of all, this is a complete example. First, the element is defined. First of all, before defining any attribute, just make sure that its element is defined first. Understood? No? So in this case, this attribute width is belonging to square element. So I have defined that square element. Yeah, since it is a empty element, this is how the empty elements are defined. This we had seen in the last lecture, how to define the empty elements. Okay, element keyword, name of the element, and then what? The empty keyword. Just to tell that, okay, the element is empty, right? Okay. Now, once the element is defined, then the next task is to define this attribute. Okay, so again, the syntax says what? At least keyword, to which element it belongs. It belongs to square element. What is the name of the attribute? Width. Yes or no? What type of data it is going to take? You can take C data or PC data. Okay, and here we have specified the default value. So in this case, the value that is given for width is 100. Yes or no? So if this value, user is not giving this value, by default, this value will be considered. That is the meaning of that. Okay, understood, no? So this is how we specify the default attribute values, and this is how this single statement is defined in the DTD. First, we need to define the element, and then we need to define the attribute. Again, to define the attribute, syntax is what? At least keyword, name of the element to which it belongs, name of the attribute, what type of data your attribute is going to take, and then the last, the default value. In our case, the default value is 0. So if this 100 is not specified, by default this value will be considered. Okay, so yeah, these are the same points. Yeah, if you can read this entire statement. In the above example, the square element is defined to be empty element. Yes or no? Okay, and it is having a width attribute of type C data. If this width is not specified, what will happen? It is going to take the default value of 0. Fine. So this is one thing. I'll just see if it is there over here, default. Yeah. Okay, yeah, look at this example, if you can see. Yeah, following is an example of attribute declaration with default value. Default value, right? Okay. So look at this XML. This is my XML. Yes or no? This is my XML. Address is a root element. Yes or no? Address is a root element. Then it is having name as an element. Yes or no? And for this name element, there is one attribute. That is a ID attribute. Understood? No? Okay. Now look at the DTD now how it is defined. Okay, doc type root element. Yes or no? Then I'm defining my root element. It is having name as a child. Yes or no? Then this name element is defined as a PC data. Understood? And then once you have defined this name element, you need to define this ID also. So how thing is defined? See, at least name it belongs to name element. Attribute name is ID. Yeah, C data you can take. What is the default value? 0. So if you are not providing, the user is not providing this value, by default 0 value will be considered, right? So same thing has been explained in this example. We have the name. The same thing. It is what I explained, right? Understood? No. Only thing you have to make sure that okay, before defining any element attribute, okay, the attribute belongs to which element. That element has to be defined first. Understood? No. Otherwise, again, the parser is going to give some warnings or error that the element not found something. Understood? Yeah, this was about the default attribute values. Okay, now second thing is the word required attributes. Okay, so if you look at this example, yeah, otherwise we'll go to that material only. Only thing I have to slightly edit this file to include some more content. Okay. Yeah, see now. Okay, we'll go to fixed. Okay, so in this case, what is happening? See, a fixed keyword followed by fixed value is used, okay, when you want to specify that the attribute value is constant and cannot be changed. Understanding? So in this case, what was happening in case of default value? Okay, if this value is not given, then only this value was selected, yes or no? But user was free to enter any value for this attribute. He could have entered any value. Yes or no? Only if this value is not provided, then this value will be considered, right? Okay. Now in case of fixed, what happens? See. Okay, we use this keyword if you want to specify that the attribute value cannot be changed. Understanding? So look at this example. Yeah. Look at this example now. Okay. Yeah. Look at this XML. This is my XML. Sorry. This is my XML. Yes or no? Address is a root element, and it is having a element of company as a child. Yes. This is the tag. This is the content of the company element, right? And this company element is having one attribute name. And this is the name that is given. Okay, so if we want the value of this name attribute to be fixed, means what? It has to be tutorial's point. It cannot be anything else. Understood? No, it has to be what? Tutorial's point. So in this case, look at this DTD now, how it is specified. So this is a normal thing, how to specify the root element, yes or no? Doc type root element, then what? The root element is defined. These are the children, okay? Star means what? 0 or multiple occurrences, okay? Then this company element is defined, okay, it is having a simple content, okay, and this company element is having one attribute name, so that is defined over here. Okay, at least element name, attribute name, okay, and yeah, even if you skip this part, no issue, okay, then what will happen? Hash fixed, you are saying, hash fixed, and then what? These are the actual content. Means what? This attribute will be having the fixed value, and the value will be what? Tutorial's point only. If I change these things out in my XML, what will happen? Yeah, the parser will say that it is not valid, because in my DTD I am saying that the value will be fixed. That is tutorial's point. Fine. Okay, now going to the third one. Yeah, this was about the fixed. Okay, where is that? Fixed. Okay, same example. So it is C. Okay, yeah, even this is the same example. See. Yeah, if you look at this example now, see. This is the DTD that is given. So what is DTD saying? Okay, element sender is having an attribute company. There is an element sender. Okay, it is having one attribute company. Yes or no? And it is having fixed data. And what is that fixed data? Microsoft. So if you look at this example, element is sender, attribute is company, Microsoft. And if you look at this example, element sender, then the attribute company and W is school. So which one will be? This one your comments also given. This is valid and this is invalid. Why this is invalid? Because here I am saying that this attribute is having fixed value of Microsoft. Okay, so this was a fixed. Then going to the third one, required. Okay, now in case of required means what? The user has to provide what? Some kind of attribute value. it is very compulsory for the user to enter the value. The value can be anything, you can change the values also, but the user has to enter the value, right? So if you look at this example, see, okay, here's what I'm saying. Look at this DTD now. Okay, just look at this DTD. So it says that, okay, at least person, okay, person is an element, number is the attribute, this is the value of the attribute, what type of value, and I'm saying hash required. Means what? Person, number, the value has to be given. Understood? No, because of this required. If I'm not giving this attribute over here, see, this person is not having this number attribute, yes or no? So this is invalid, right? Okay. Now coming to the last one, that is implied. Okay, this choice is up to the user. Understood? Now see, even if you skip the things out, still it is going to work. Okay, see. Yeah, what is said in this example, what is said, okay, the name attribute is having the name element is having the ID attribute, which is implied, I'm saying. So even if you skip that particular attribute, okay, see, look at this statement. This name element doesn't have this ID attribute, so no, still it is fine. Understood? No, even if you give the value and provide some value, still it is going to work. Okay, so these are the 4 things, okay, how you specify the attributes. Fine. Okay, now going to the next part. Okay, this is not that important. Fix enum. Okay, now this topic also I had explained to you all, yes or no, in the beginning only. Okay, elements versus attributes. Okay, so in case of XML, okay, we are going to restrict ourselves. Okay, again I'm saying it is not wrong to use the attributes, but the scope will be very limited. Understood? No, yes or no, only for metadata we are going to use these attribute values. Understood? So same example it is. Same example what we had seen in the beginning of the XML, whether to use elements or attributes. If you look at this example, person is an element, yes or no? Okay, first name, last name, and then sex is an attribute. And in this example, the sex, it is considered as an element. So both these things are doing, both these files are giving the same information. Yes or no? Only thing here, the sex is an attribute, the sex is an element. Right? So again, both these things are correct. I'm not saying no, but again, yeah, we are going to avoid making use of attributes in XML. Understood? No, we are going to limit the usage of attribute only to the metadata. Understood? Fine. So this example we had seen in module 1, sorry, in the beginning of XML also, right? Okay, so once we are done with the okay, so when I had explained all these things, okay, building blocks of XML DTD, these were the building block sites, elements, attributes, entities, PC data, and C data. So we are done with the elements. Now in detail we saw how to define different types of elements, and today also we saw how to define the attributes. Okay, fixed, default, implied, and required. Okay, now we'll go for the entities. Yes or no? So what entities, in entities, what were things we had seen? And I hope you know the concept. In entities, what we had seen? Where is that concept? Yeah. Okay, this was the thing that we had seen. Yes or no? Under the entities, there are some characters are having the special meaning in XML, even in HTML. Yes or no? So if you put this symbol as a part of the text or data, what might happen? The parser might misinterpret this character. Yes or no? Because they are having some special meaning. Okay, so to handle this thing, we had some entities. So if I want to put this symbol in my data, I'll use this entity. Yes or no? Okay, so this was some inbuilt entities, right? And whenever you look at the entities, it is having 3 parts: ampersand symbol, the name of the entity, and then there's a semicolon. Yes or no? Okay. Now this was some inbuilt entity. So if I want to define my own entity, new entity, user-defined entity, even that is possible. Fine. Okay, that we'll see now. Yeah. Okay. So see now. Yeah. No need to look at this external entity. Okay. So this is how we can define our own new entities. So if you look at this statement, yeah. First of all, this is the syntax how you define new entity. You have to use the entity keyword, name of the entity, and value of the entity. Right. So look at this example. Okay, in these two statements, I have defined two entities. So what are the names of the entities? One is a writer, one is a copyright. So what is the value of the writer entity? Donald Duck. What is the value of the copyright entity? Copyright W3 Schools. Understood now? So this is how we can define our own new entities, right? So we have to use the entity keyword. You have to give the name of the entity and then the value of the entity, right? So similarly, in the second statement, I have defined second entity, that is copyright, and this is the value of that, right? So in my XML, if I'm using this statement, this is XML statement, right? Okay, name of the element is what? Author. Here what I said. So name of the entity is writer. But when you are going to use this entity in the XML, what things you'll have to use? Again, as I said, there are three parts of an entity. Which are the three parts? Ampersand symbol, name of the entity, and semicolon. So when I'm going to use this entity in my XML, see, ampersand, writer, semicolon. So here what will be, what data will be included over here? Donald Duck. Yes or no? And I have included second entity also, ampersand, entity name, semicolon. So here what will be included? Copyright Schools. So if I ask you what are the contents of author element, it will be what? Donald Duck, Copyright Schools. Understood? Yeah. Entity has three parts, so same point it is. Okay, so I hope you understood how to define the new entity. Even this is possible, right? So only thing you have to use this keyword at entity keyword, specify what entity, what is the entity name, and specify its value in double quotes. Fine, and this is how you can use the entities. Yes or no? Because it is having three parts: ampersand, name, and semicolon. Ampersand, name, and semicolon. Fine. So that's why if I ask you what are the contents of author element, what will be the content of author element? Donald Duck, Copyright Schools, because these entities will be expanded. Fine. Okay. Yeah. So these are some examples mentioned, two examples of DTD. Yeah, look at this. Yeah, this is a complete DTD that is given. Understanding? And what? Yeah. So this is a DTD given. Fine. So this is just a reverse thing. Given the DTD, write a XML file. Just now I had taken an XML file, and from the XML file we had written the DTD. Okay, so even this kind of questions you might get. Okay, so if I ask you to draw or to write a valid XML file, okay, for this DTD, okay, you'll be in a position to write yes, because nothing is difficult in this thing. So look at this DTD. What are things are mentioned? Doc type TV schedule means what? How you specify the root element using doc type declaration? Yes or no? So TV schedule. TV schedule is my root element. Yes or no? So inside the root element, this channel element is occurring multiple times because of this plus symbol, right? Give me a minute. Okay, so what that file is saying, yeah, root element is TV schedule. Okay, so I'll write it over there. TV schedule, right? This is my root element, TV schedule, right? Okay, so inside the root element, this channel element is occurring multiple times, right? So I'll say channel. Yes or no? It can occur multiple times because of that plus symbol, channel it is, right? Okay, now looking at the channel element, it is having again what? Two elements, banner and day, right? So I'll say banner, and what? Day. Okay. Okay, now if you look at this for day, there is a plus symbol, means what? That day element can occur multiple times. This day element can occur multiple times inside the channel, right? So this is my banner. Fine. Okay. Okay, now this banner element is expanded over there. PC data. Okay, so this is a simple thing. Banner means what? PC data. Simple text content, right? So this is fine. Okay. Then what? Okay, looking at the day element, again it is having what? See, looking at the day element, what are things it is having? Date and this thing. Date and either this or this it is. Understood, no? So it is having the date okay and what either holiday or program slot okay so either holiday or program slot understood no either it is having holiday or program slot okay now going to the holiday it is PC data or holiday it is PC data fine this is fine and going to date also it is PC data this is also what PC data okay program slot is having again three children program slot is having time title description program slot is having time title and description time title and description okay time title and description okay time title description these are PC data okay so again this is PC data PC data PC data fine so once you understand the total the overall the layout of a XML file then it is not difficult to write a valid XML file understood no and here what things are specified over there okay what is this at least means what we are specifying the attributes right so if you can look at if you look at these first two examples okay what things are specified required yes or no means what TV schedule is having a attribute of name the value has to be given by the user similarly channel element is having attribute chain again the value has to be given by the user now what about these two attributes program load element is having VTR as an attribute title element is having rating as an attribute title element is having one more attribute of language so these are implied so even if you skip the thing no problem even in my XML file if the user is not providing the attribute values for these three things then no problem but what about first two the user have to provide these two attributes for the TV schedule and channel element otherwise again the parser is not going to validate the XML file fine so this is a proper DTD that is given okay you might be also asked to write a valid XML file for this understood valid well formed as well as if your file is valid that means it is well formed also okay fine so similarly one more example is over there so again you can just go to this example okay just understand the overall this thing the layout of this DTD and XML file understood so looking at the give me a minute yeah action second part of second module okay introduction XML syntax attribute validation DTD building blocks of XML documents okay DTD elements okay the DTD attributes today we saw DTD elements also we saw today DTD validation means how to validate the file fine so now these things are remaining that is XSL transformation XML namespace and XML schema okay so this part again it needs at least this is a main part of this entire thing okay so I can say that this constitutes 50% and this constitutes 50% they should know so now we are done with these things okay 50% of the this entire part so this itself is a major part of this entire thing lot many things are there to be covered in this fine okay so yeah I think yeah, so now I think we should go for XML schema okay so before going to XML schema we'll just quickly go to this questions what are questions asked in the semester yeah just give me a 1 minute sorry yeah okay so we'll see the XML questions over there sorry Yeah, okay, differentiate, D question, you can see differentiate between DTD and XML schema, but XML schema I have not yet explained, okay? We are just done with the basic XML and DTD part, okay? Then, yeah, if you look at this question 3B, this can explain the building blocks of XML document for 5 marks it is. Understood? Actually, it's a 10 marks question because a lot many things are there. So, which are the different building blocks? Elements, attributes, entities, PC data, C data. Okay. Now, if you look at the third question, 3C, yeah, they have given one XML document. Yes or no? The root element is payroll. Okay. And who is this child? Employee. And if you analyze the employee element, ID, name, department, basic pay, manager. And what is the question they have asked? Write a, okay, this is XSLT transformation it is that I have not explained to you all yet. Understood, no? So you have to transform this file into a HTML file to get this kind of display. Understood? Then in part C, yeah, if you look at 8B, what are namespaces? Namespaces also I have not yet explained. Fine. Okay, then in this paper, yeah, again building blocks of XML document, again 5 marks. XSLT I have not yet explained. Okay, again, if you look at question 3A, 5 marks question it is that they have given one XML hierarchy, and again we have to write XML schema for that. Okay, it's like a DTD only. Okay, and in part C, again XSLT which I have not yet explained. Okay. The third paper, yeah, these are also 16, 17 papers. If you look at the earlier scheme papers, then you will get many questions on the XML. Understood? No? So yeah, also they have asked the building blocks. Then yeah, different. Yeah, look at this example. Look at this question 3B. Differentiate between well-formed XML document and valid XML document for 4 marks. Understood? No. So you have to first explain the definition. What is the meaning of well-formed? Well-formed means it is as per the syntax, all the rules. Okay. There has to be the XML prologue. The root element has to be there. All elements must be closed properly in proper order, proper nesting, case sensitive, yes or no. So all these things are there, then we say that it is well formed. And then when the file is said to be valid, if it is well formed as well as if it is as per the DTD. Understood? No? Then you can give one small example. Understood? Yeah. And if you look at this question 3C, okay, here also they have given one XML file. Only thing they have not given in proper format, like they have explained. There is a root element is student, and these are the child elements of student. Again, subject is having some more things. This is a nesting or hierarchy they have given. What we are supposed to do? Yeah, as per this hierarchy, we are supposed to write a XML document, a XML file as per this hierarchy. Understood? And if you look at this example again for 6 marks, again there is one XML file. Yeah, again it is, I think, conversion it is fine. So that XSLT I have not yet explained. And part C ending is there. Yeah, also they have given one XML file and we are supposed to write the schema. Fine. Yeah, so this was some kind of some questions in RC 16, 17 papers. Fine. So now I think I should start with yeah, XML schema. Yeah, so now we'll be starting with the XML schema. Understanding? So before starting with this XML schema, one more thing I would like to explain you all. Okay, the first thing what we are studying, see, whenever we are studying any new language, first thing what we are supposed to know is why we are studying that language. Yes or no? So HTML we had studied to why we have studied to design the web pages, then CSS to style the web pages, JavaScript to validate the pages, yes or no, to make the page dynamic, to have the user interaction. Then we went for XML. Then again in XML, why we use XML for data storage and transportation. Yes. Okay. Now again in XML we started with DTD concept. Now why we had used DTD? To check for the validity of the XML file. Yes or no? And even that example I had given, if I ask all the students to write one XML file and get, all the files will be different, yes or no? So to have the consistency, we use the DTD. You want to check whether the DTD, the XML file is as per the format or not, right? Okay. Now there is one more technology, okay, that is known as XML schema definition. Okay, so the main motive why this XML schema definition is used is same like your DTD. Why we had used DTD to check for the validity of the XML file? Yes or no? So even the XSD or XML schema definition is also used for the same purpose, to have the consistency and to check for the validity of the XML file. But there are some differences between your DTD and XSD. Understanding? No? There are some things which your DTD cannot do. Okay, some limitations of DTD which are handled in schema definition. Understood? No? So that's what we are going to learn in this concept. Okay, and in comparison to DTD, okay, in XSD will be having lot many things to be covered. Understood? No? Fine. Okay. See, look at this thing. Why? Okay, when there is a DTD concept, why we are going for XSD again? Understanding? In DTD, we can have the consistency, yes or no? We can have the consistency of all the XML files. We can also check whether the XML file is valid or not. Okay, then why there's a need to go for this XSD? That's what I had said. There are some limitations of DTD which are worked on in XSD. Okay, so these are some differences. See, first of all, if you look at the DTD, this is a full form. Okay. Okay, now if you look at the DTD, now everyone knows how to write the DTD, right? Okay, if you look at the structure or the syntax of DTD, it is not same like your XML. Yes or no? We had some different way of programming, different way of writing the DTD part, yes or no? But if you look at the XSD concept, what we are going to study now, the syntax of XSD is a bit similar to XML. Understood? No, so see, the XSD are written in XML. Their syntax is same like your XML. But what about DTD? They are derived, okay, from the HTML syntax. It is not the same like your XML, right? Okay. Then one more limitation of DTD was not supporting the data type concept. Now everyone knows what is the meaning of data type, yes or no? Okay. So main limitation of DTD is the data types are not supported in DTD. Whereas in XSD, you can handle different types of data types. See, DTD does not support data types. XSD supports the data types. Understood, no? Right? Okay. Now there is one more concept of namespace over here. Okay, even namespace is a small concept that we are going to study later. Okay, so even that namespace concept is not applicable to DTD, whereas your XSD can support the namespace concept. Understood, no? Right? Now in DTD, it doesn't define the order for child elements, whereas the XSD, you can also define the order for the child elements. Okay, DTD is not extensible, XSD is extensible. DTD provides less control over the XML structure. XSD provides, okay, these are some small points. But the main point is what? DTD the syntax is completely different. XSD, it will be similar syntax of XML. Okay, then DTD does not support data types, XSD support data types. DTD does not support namespace, XSD support namespace. Understood, no? So these are few of the reasons why you will be going for XSD now. Fine. Again, I'm saying the thing what XSD is going to do, it will be the same thing, just for the having the consistency purpose of XML file and checking for the validity of the XML file. Fine. So yeah. So next, I think tomorrow I'm having an offline lecture. So that time I'll start properly with the schema definition. Fine. I'll just give you all the introduction to the namespace first, and then we'll start with the schema definition. Okay. So there are a lot many things to be covered under the schema. See, look at this. This is a schema. Okay. Okay. So the XML schema or XSD itself might take at least 4 lectures I need for this part. Understood? So once I'm done with this thing, then the things that will be remaining. So now I'm starting with the XML schema. So this will take 4 lectures. Yeah, this I need at least half lecture for namespace, and then the one more topic that is going to remain is transformations. Okay, so 3 lectures. This one is 4 and 5, 6, 7. I'll take 8. So at least 8 lectures I need to cover this part now. Understood? No? That's what I had said. This itself is a 50% of this entire thing. Yes or no? Okay, till here I finished this part within 4 lectures, 4, 5. Understood? No, but to cover this part, I need at least 7 to 8 lectures. Fine. So in my tomorrow's offline lecture, I'll start with the schema part. Okay, fine. Yeah, that's enough for today. Let me take your attendance. Today is, I think, last time when I had taken lecture for you all, I think it was on second. Today is, yeah, today is what, 8. Yeah, Friday also I couldn't take lecture. Thursday also, yeah, Wednesday I had taken lecture for you all, I think. Wait a minute. Wednesday. Just give me 1 minute. Yeah. Yeah, Wednesday I taken, okay, and today's lecture, okay. So I'll call out your numbers, okay. Just put the attendance in the chat window, fine. Yeah, one, roll number one, two, roll number one and two, roll number three, one, two, three, all absent, then four. Okay, then present, one is present, two is absent, three is absent, four, two is four, Sanish, five, okay, six, Saish, present, then seven, present, then eight, present, then nine, present, then 10, present, then 11, present. See, before I forget, just practice these things out, understood, no? XML, because it needs a lot of practice. It's not like your HTML, okay? Then again, if you see the semester paper, these questions are asked for 8 marks. If you do a simple mistake somewhere, again, either you'll get 0 or 8, understood, no? Partial marks are not, don't get any partial marks in this XML. Okay, yeah, 12, yeah, 12 present, 13, 13 present, 14, 14 present, 15 present, 16, 16 present, 17 present, 18 present, 19 present, 20, 20 present, 21, 22, 21 present, 22 present, 23 present, 24 present, 25 present, 26 present, was 26, okay, 27 present, 28, wait, 28 and 29 are present, wait a minute, 1, 2, 8, 1, 2, 3, okay, yeah, 28 and 29 are present, then 30, 31, 30 is present, 31, who is 31, 31 is not there, 32 and 33, 32 and 33, 32 is not there, 32 is not there, 32 also present, okay, then 35, 36, 35, 36 present, then 37, 38, 37, 38 present, 39, 40, 39, 40, 39, 40, then 41, 42, okay, 41, 42 present, 43 and 44 present, then 45, 46, 45 is present, what about 46, 46 is absent, then 47, 49, 47 and 49, 49 is present, what about 47, then 50, 51, 52, 50, 51, 52, 50 is present, 51, 50 is present and 52 is present. See, 50, 51, 52, you're not attending the lectures, huh? Please say that you attend it regularly and so, okay? 54, 55, 54, 55, 54 is present, 55, 55, 56, 57, 56, 57, 57, 47, 57. Who's 57? Sohan, not there. 58, 59, 58 and 59. Okay, then 61 and 61, 62, 63. 61, 62 and 63. 6 is 61. Sampada is not there. 1, 2, 3. Wait a minute. 61 is absent. Wait. 62 present. 63 present. Sadhana present. Yeah, Sadhana, Riya, Atish. Riya is not there. Riya, Sadhana is present. Riya and Atish absent. Atish is present. Atish is present. Then Shripad, Lionel. Lionel is present. Shripad is absent. Videsh, Vaibhav, Ganadesh. Videsh, Vaibhav, Ganadesh. Vaibhav is present. Ganadesh is present. And Videsh is absent. Okay. Yeah. Videsh is present. Okay. Yes. Yeah, we'll meet tomorrow again. Fine. So did I miss out any names?